how is it possible to love someone but not like them? I mean, yeah, I mean, it's common, but to understand it, if someone is good enough to love, what's not to like? And if they're not even likable, how'd you get to love them? So we need to understand this phenomenon. How do we get so divided in our hearts that we can actually love someone and not like them? Or worse, you can love someone and hate them. How does this happen? How does this work? Maybe if we understood it properly, we could get to like the people we love, which would be nice, because you can't get rid of them, because you love them. The answer is this. When God created the world out of nothing, he had to create two things: existence and life. He had to create existence because nothing existed. There was nothing. And then he gave all these things that now exist a life. Everything in the physical world exists and has a life. Two things. A stone exists, water exists, fire exists, air exists. And they all exist the same way. Because the definition of existence, what does it mean that this thing is here? It is. What does it mean it is? I know it's tall, I know it's solid, but what does it mean it is? Existence, scientifically and Kabbalistically as well, the definition of existence is it takes up space. Something is by virtue of the fact that it takes up space. It occupies its space. If you can have two books on the shelf in the same place, then those books don't exist. A book on a shelf takes up space. You cannot put another book in that space. Everything exists by that definition. A rock exists, it takes up space. Water exists because it takes up space. Air exists because it takes up space. Even a thought takes up space. Your mind is preoccupied. You can't have two thoughts at the same time. Emotions take up space. Your heart is full. You have two conflicting emotions, they fight for the space. Then things have life. The life of a stone is very different than the life of water. Because life means the function and purpose of this existence. So it exists by taking up space, and it lives by fulfilling a function. Water runs downhill. Fire rises. Stones don't move. They have different functions. So they exist and they live. Now, of course, the creature that is most alive is the human being. So here's the thing. I exist and I live. I have an existence and I have a life. My existence is I take up space. I need my own space. If I'm sitting in a chair, nobody else can sit there. I take up space. I exist. Then I have a life. My life is the function and the purpose for which I take up space. Now here's a problem. What is good for my existence isn't always good for my life. And what is good for my life isn't always good for my existence. So I find myself in conflict. Just for example, if we can be honest and open about this. The fact that you are all here at the Chabad house, the fact that you're all present in this room, makes me very uncomfortable. And I resent your being here, frankly. Because I could have been here by myself and had the whole room to myself. And then my existence would have been very comfortable and bigger. To be one person out of 50, out of 60, I mean, what kind of existence is that? You're cramping my space. This town ain't big enough for the two of us. So I really resent the fact that you're here. You make me very uncomfortable. You're not good for my existence. But on the other hand, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Because speaking to an empty room is a little crazy. It's not a life. So the fact that you're here makes my life better. But it makes my existence worse. So I don't know whether I should love you or hate you. I don't know what to do. So basically I end up loving you for being here because you make my life, but I don't like you because of what you do to my existence. And we're not even married. Now imagine a husband and wife who really share the same space all the time. How can you do that? On the one hand, you love each other because without each other you have no life. It's true. But then you start to crowd each other's space and you don't like each other. That's how it happens. That's why it happens. Now, if we understood the difference between existence and living, it would solve so many problems. Why do we ask that eternal question for 5,000 years, over and over again? Why are we here? Every human being asks it. Some people take it very seriously, some people ask it casually, but it's a question we all ask. The reason is simple. If you're even a tiny bit sensitive, you have to be uncomfortable about the fact that you exist, because it's embarrassing. I exist. Really? What does that mean? It means you can't sit in my chair. That sounds so childish. I take up space. Really? Now there's a talent. There's something to be proud of. You take up space better than anybody else takes up space. You're really good at it. You take up space. You hear children arguing about this, and it's so embarrassing. I was here first. Don't touch me. It's mine. What is that? It's so depressing. My children were arguing once. They were 6 or 7 years old. And I hear them from across the house. And one of them is saying, "It's my bed." And the other one says, "No, it's my bed." So I walk into the room, and like a mature adult, I said, "Excuse me, it's my bed." "How did it get to be your bed? You're 6. It's my bed. Is that what human existence is all about? It gets worse. Not only does my existence take up space and therefore not allow you to be in my space, my existence also makes other demands. In order to exist, I have to eat. To exist, I have to sleep. To exist, I have to have a house of my own. And I need it to be secure. And I need to be protected from you because you violate my space. In fact, all human needs come from existence. It is so demanding. So by its very nature, to exist is embarrassing and a little depressing because it's heavy. It's heavy, it's exhausting. Now, if you take your existence seriously and you start putting energy into it and you start worrying about it and fighting over it, it gets heavier. And if it reaches a certain point of heaviness, you are depressed. That's where depression comes from. When your existence is too heavy for you to carry. Life, on the other hand, makes no demands. Life is opportunity. No matter what your existence is like, you always have an opportunity. Life. Life is buoyant. It doesn't take, it gives. It's not embarrassing. It's noble. Life is not what you need. Life is what you can do in spite of your needs, beyond your needs, more than your needs. So if we put too much energy into existing, we sap some of our energy out of our life. We put more energy into living, we lighten the burden of our existence. And that's why sometimes the treatment or the advice for a person who's depressed is to stop kvetching, stop belly aching, and go help somebody else. Why does that work? Because then you're switching from worrying about your existence to putting some energy into your life. And that's what humility means. Humility doesn't mean deprecate your life. That's not Jewish at all. In fact, in Jewish thinking, an hour of life is more precious than an eternity in heaven. We never deprecate life. The humility that we're speaking of is the humbling of your existence. Well, that makes sense. Be humble about your existence. Well, of course. What's to be proud of? I've been taking up space for 30 years now. That's not a talent. That's not something to be proud of. On the contrary, humble it. Take up as little space as possible. Use up as few resources as possible. Don't make waves. Humble your existence, not your life. When you get married, when you say, I do, what are you referring to? When you say, I do, you mean, I surrender my existence to you. You can have my space. You can take my existence. If together, we can create a life. So, if you're married, and you love the person you're married to, but you don't like them, the simple solution is stay drunk. Because when you're drunk, it doesn't bother you that they're stealing your space. An alternative to that, an alternative plan would be humble your existence. If it's about existence, give it away. Let them have it. It will give you life. So when you got married, you understood we are going to sacrifice our existence because we can make a good life together. And then you forgot. And you can't believe that somebody is occupying your space. And you fight over it? Oh, that's embarrassing and depressing. You're taking your existence way too seriously. No need. Not nice. Give it up. You need space? Take it. What do I need it for? You need more room? Have more room. What do I need it for? It's just a burden. So if you think that every song is about you, your existence is out of control. Not every song is about you. You don't need to occupy every space. It doesn't have to be about you all the time. You need to be busy living. Now let's think about what we teach our children, because that can be really scary. Do we teach our children about life, or do we teach them about existence? What do we tell children? How to brush their teeth? How to cross the street? How to eat well? A balanced diet? How to be safe? How to make a living, which is really just an existence? What do we teach them about life, if anything? We tell them, don't lie. Well, that sounds like a value, a life value. But then we ruin it. We say, don't lie, because if you lie, then nobody will ever believe you, and your existence will be miserable. Share. You got to share with your friends. Sounds good? Then we ruin it. Share with your friends, because then they'll share with you. Go to school, study, pass the test. Sounds good? Then we ruin it. So you'll get a job. So you'll get to a good college. So you'll get a better job. You'll make more money. You'll have a better existence. Then you'll get depressed. Because the people who get depressed are the ones who have comfortable existences. Nobody gets depressed in a third world country. They just get hungry. Only in a comfortable existence do we have the luxury of getting depressed. So, l'chaim, to life. If you choose life, then you get to like the people you love. Because you love to give them your existence. You love the fact that they take your space. You love to do things you don't need to do. Because that's life. Then we're alive. If we just take care of our needs, we can't justify that. If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it.